I would like to welcome Christine Jardine to our talk tonight. Christine, hello, and everyone who is joining us as well, because last few days we had MSPs from the Scottish Parliament. We had three events with three MSPs. We asked them all one question. Obviously, today we have Christine, who is the Member of Parliament, and I know Christine works very, very hard, and she's. I've had the privilege to work with her, and I'm really looking forward for her talk. The question I've been asking everyone is more or less same sort of questions, which I want it to be included in your talk, Christine. So okay. The question was, what action can be taken at a local level to deliver carbon reduction? And obviously, the other question is not relevant to you, because the other question was like, what action can Scottish Parliament take? But the question to you will be that what action can Westminster Parliament take for Edinburgh or our local area? So without taking any time, welcome to our talk, Christine, and nice seeing you again.
It's nice seeing you again, and thank you very much to everybody for coming along, but also for the invitation, because climate change for me is, apart from COVID-19, it's the major issue facing us at the moment. And COVID-19 is a massive challenge, the challenge of not just this lifetime, but any lifetime. However, if we handle it properly and we tackle it properly, it also offers us an opportunity, because this is the closest we are ever going to have to a blank sheet of paper, where everybody has to think about where we move forward, how we move forward, what steps we take, what the economy will look like, for example, after COVID-19. And I think that every policy, everything we tackle, every step that we take towards tackling COVID-19, and this is partly the answer to your question about Westminster, everything Westminster does in this, every policy, net zero should be integral to that policy, everything. And that's the Liberal Democrats policy. To be political for a moment, if we were in government, that's what we would do. And I'm particularly pleased to be talking to you tonight, because it's a crucial moment in the global fight against the planet, not just because climate change and to protect the planet, not just because of COVID-19, but because we are waiting on the results of the American presidential election. It looks like Joe Biden, touch wood, may win. And if he does, the Americans will rejoin the Paris Climate Change Agreement immediately. And that is so important for the future, not just of America or Europe or any part of the planet, for the planet and for its future. And, you know, fingers crossed. I'm sitting here, I've actually got CNN on in the distance, and I'm listening for Georgia and Pennsylvania and Nevada to see if there's anything. It's also this weekend, the Climate Change Assembly. And we see from everything that's happening, from Extinction Rebellion and Greta Thunberg, you know, the great sweep of support for them, that we are at a moment where this generation does realise, and everybody realises, that we have to do what we can or we won't have a planet. And I mentioned COVID-19. Well, there was a piece in The Guardian recently that said fewer than 6% of people in this country want to return to a pre-COVID economy. And that is largely thanks to the work that's been done by climate groups and by Greta Thunberg, by Extinction Rebellion. And moving forward, we have to be thinking about every single policy, as I say. Now, for Edinburgh, there is an obvious one. Edinburgh has Scotland's busiest airport. It's been quiet recently, but it's still Scotland's busiest airport. And when we come out of this, Edinburgh will probably still be Scotland's busiest airport. The aviation industry is struggling, and it does need support because our economy needs it, but the support that they get, I believe, should be dependent on airlines, airports, everybody involved in the aviation industry introducing climate-friendly measures. I don't believe there should be a reduction in air passenger duty. I don't believe we should be encouraging people to fly. Yes, it's necessary, but I believe we should be encouraging people to use the trains to travel between Edinburgh and London. So that's the first thing I think we could do locally. Then I think we could, there's been a lot of controversy in Edinburgh about spaces for people. These are the sort of things that we must do to improve our, and I see someone said tax aviation for, yes, I agree. These are the things that we must do, things like spaces for people. They need public support. We all agree with cleaning up the air, particularly in Christopherton, where I live and as part of my constituency. The air, you can actually feel at times the particles in the air when you're breathing it, and asthma problems here and everything. But spaces for people needs to work, but it needs public consultation, because we only make any climate change measures work if we take people with us, if they have been consulted, if they have had some input into it and they can take possession of it and do it for themselves. And I think that's the key. I think that's where maybe Edinburgh Council have gone wrong. They haven't taken the public with them. But that's not to criticise them for trying. It's just maybe they needed to do it slightly different. Scotland, of course, could be a world leader in this. But we do have really low recycling rates. I think it's about 40%. We need to do something about that. We need to encourage people to recycle more. I know that it's taken me a long time to get used to the idea of not just being able to put everything out of sight right away and put it in the bin and keep it for recycling. But now my kitchen's probably not as tidy as it used to be, but I'm proud of that, because the reason that there are things out is because they're there for recycling. And I think that's important. We have to change people's way of thinking. As a party, we have always been committed to climate change on a large scale. I don't think we're alone in thinking that every policy should have climate change built into it. But I think that we were, if you like, the first major party to do that. And I think there are specific things that we can do. We need, for example, a climate fund, which should be worth about £1 billion. And the aim of that should be to decarbonise capitalism. Moving out of COVID-19, we need to transfer. The transition needs to start in the economy. This is an opportunity, as I said, to transition the economy into a greener economy. We need a £10 billion renewable power fund. And we need money for retrofitting industries and homes. And net zero, as I say, has to be our target. We need a just transition commission to design the policies for, we talk about building back better, and yes, we should, but we need to build back better and greener, and that has to be central to it. Fracking, complete ban, not a moratorium, a ban, no new coal mines. A rewilding programme is also important. Trees, they have a double benefit. They absorb carbon, and we should be thinking about that everywhere. Carbon capture. That was one of the big things that when we were in coalition with the Tories, we pushed for and we wanted to continue. Carbon capture is massively expensive, massively difficult, but it's the future. You capture carbon and you reuse it again. So those are the things. That's where I am as a politician. That's where my party is. And I believe that we don't have time to spend thinking about it, to argue about it. We have to get on and tackle the issues that need tackled at a local level, at a national level, at an international level, to ensure that we leave the planet in a better state.
Yep,
we inherited it, and this generation.
Yeah, Christian, we totally agree. I think we all need to work together to make it happen. So thank you very much for your informative speech.